Broadcasting live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. Brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live on the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course alongside Seth, Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino on another very pleasant morning, as apparently they're giving away free daily double tickets at the starting gate.
There is a lineup of gate workers out there. There had to be 10 horses behind the gate just a minute ago. And one of them clearly needs the schooling.
Yes.
That one does not want to go.
Summer school is in session for one of them, but
I hope it wasn't the one that was having trouble coming in this gate yesterday. I'd never quite seen that before. I didn't want to go through the 10-foot opening.
No, need a little broader space. We could, take it out, but.
It is a gorgeous morning, though. And yesterday, the weather was iffy.
We did it.
And then they moved up the post times.
Yeah, they sped it up
significantly. I think the last race was about half an hour ahead. And it was a nice day. And I thought yesterday and today were iffy earlier this week when I watched the weather. But as we talk now, today is nice, too.
Oh, so listen, that's one of the great challenges here. Not only – Saratoga specifically, not even the Capital District, just, right here, I am not a weather winky, but whatever it is, weather can move in quickly. It can change. It's dastardly sometimes. But yesterday, as I said, with those plethora of mile and 16th races on the two courses, we did it. It was, I thought, and I said it going in, it was, the last 2 days of racing have been my type of days. Like a lot of like fourth and fifth choices winning yesterday in very competitive races, which I had, denoted in the morning. I thought it was just fantastic, and hopefully those. I
will know, and I think I'm right here. You were 1, 2, 3 in the last race too, right?
Yes, I think so.
And I'm thinking that had to be the first time that ever happened. Not only that we agreed 1, 2, 3, but they came in 1, 2, 3. My fourth pick completed the superfecta too. So that last race was a nice. We got $10.20.
Katie Davis won the opener, and Dylan Davis won the closer.
Yeah, and we will have Katie on a little bit later. Katie and Robbie Davis, because Saturday night they're going to be across the street, a little. Charity fundraiser. Robbie's going to be in the sulky for a match race. Katie will be on board a
I did not outrun the odds, by the way.
Outrun the odds.
Katie Davis's other runner, who was 50 to 1 in the morning line, was the second longest shot and ran second to last. So I didn't. But the race unfolded, had good early position. I wasn't really expecting that much early energy, and then faltered. After, I've said this many times before, and, it was certainly the case. I felt it was certainly the case with Hush of a Storm the other day. The horse ran a good race, but the pace of that turf race really allowed Hush of a Storm to make it look easy, winning from the outside post, because, I'm just such a huge believer in pace. And I've said this before. I ran track and field, and, I used to run a lot of different things, but the 800 meters, if the first lap you went too fast, you're doomed. You're doomed. You had to find the right balance between the opening 400 meters, to balance it out. If I went like 56 for the opening, I'm doomed. But if I went 58, I was going to come home really strongly, and that was I think people look at that like, that's really weird, but it happens. It works. So I like pace.
I think you've been around the game long enough. You're used to it. But if you're new to the game and your horse is 10th way in the back of the pack, and you look up at the clock and they've gone 49, it's a little bit different than if they've gone 45 or 44. because then you can feel like, oh, okay, I don't mind being in the back. We'll make up our ground late.
No, I'm a big pace guy. You know, as a matter of fact, and Andy Show was saying on Talking Horses how they did actually drop the rails. You know, on the inner turf course, the outer will probably be Travers Week as it has been. So, you know, watch that, you know. And sometimes, like I said, with the Hush Store, the rails were up that day. And but I'm like, so I don't believe the teletype, but I'm watching and I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good. So that's it. And I want to say kudos. I know you've already had him on you've had Tom Law on, right?
Yeah.
The meet, right? I want to say kudos to the Saratoga Special, who are now including their ROI.
Yeah.
Browbeat them long enough. We just got to get the Saratogian on board, I think, and the Gazette. They still are holding out that, you know, the arithmetic is just a little too tough to get it done. And I said it before. And matter of fact, one of the people in that box for this special put it on Twitter how grateful they were for the added context, because you start to see the light.
Throwing bombs.
Yeah, it's like, there you go. The numbers are not, I mean, I always have said this, the old horrible Mark Twain line about their, lies, liars, and statistics or something like that. But I always say this about statistics. If you give me enough of them, it will make sense. If you only give me a small snippet, no good. And I've always said this, that wins and races really tell me very little. But if you give me one more little bit, you give me a lot of data. So kudos to Tom Law. And no, I don't think math is hard, as he wrote in his article. And it's not really mathematics, it's arithmetic. And there is a big difference.
Between mathematics and arithmetic, what's the difference?
Well, the difference is mathematics is a big scope of things, geometry and things like that.
Okay.
All he's talking about is arithmetic. You're just adding.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've ever
arithmetic is
the definition that close. I've never looked that closely.
Well, arithmetic is like second grade.
Yeah.
You know, it's entry level. It's not. You don't make it sound like it's differential calculus, Tom. With like that, it's arithmetic. It's second grade. It's $16.40 plus $7.10. There you go. It's arithmetic.
I do want to note, when I walked into the track yesterday, this was kind of fun. I had somebody walked up to me. It was Terry Frank, and he shook my hand. I just met him yesterday. But he said, I'm from St. Louis, and I watch you and Anthony every Saturday morning.
That's the power of what you say all the time.
Yeah. We're on YouTube now and the RTN.
Now, the question back to him was, what?
I don't
know. Do you go to Fairmount Park?
Oh, I'm sure he does. He was clearly a fan.
Is he? Oh, that's good. That's on my list, by the way. I gotta go see a ball game and go to the races. They're like Timonian. They have a very limited schedule. It's longer on the calendar. I think they only race 2 days a week. It's like a Tuesday, Friday thing. It's a little different, let's say.
Yeah, no, there are a few tracks like that now.
And you know who used to be out there? And when I say used to be, I'm talking like 3-4 years ago. Jay Randolph, who was on.
I had him on the show a couple times.
Did you?
Yeah.
Jay was on the original Breeders' Cup shows.
Yeah, I had him on
with Harvey.
He was I would say he was retired by that point.
Yes.
And it was kind of fun. Yeah, I had him on the show a few times when we were doing the weekday show.
He would come out of like this little, almost like a booth. Like he would come out and he would do a little.
He was the on-track handicapper.
Yes, he was.
At that
yes,
point.
he was.
Let me update coming up at Capital OTB. Today, play the board contest at the Clubhouse Racebook. So if you stop down at the Racebook for some action, you're going to have a little extra fun. $100 play the board contest. Fan Appreciation Day tomorrow, Friday, at the Broadway Lanes Easy Bet. Stop by. Always a lot of fun. Some food, some PPs. There's always a contest that's a lot of fun. You can win a little extra money. That's tomorrow at the Broadway Lanes Easy Bet. If you're a patron there, stop by tomorrow afternoon so we can say thank you to you. Tomorrow at the Clubhouse Racebook, $100 Knockout Challenge. Tomorrow also opens up the entries for the Sunday Pick 3 Bankroll. Again, that bankroll happens every week, and so the entries will open up every Friday for the Sunday Bankroll. Put your name in. We randomly select a team on Sunday morning. We've hit a couple of times, not as much as we would like to, but we have hit the first 2 Sundays. We'll see if we can keep it going. Saturday, King of the Hill contest, brand new contest down at the Clubhouse Racebook. A little extra fun down there on Saturday, so keep that in mind. Also Saturday, it's the Bounty Bet. That'll be happening on Saturdays during Saratoga. keep in mind, regardless of how many pick fives there are, with a number of races, there might be one stuck in the middle, but it's always the final pick five. Play it with your capital OTB bet account, and you're in for a shot.
You've hit it both weeks, though. I mean, like
you
said, not huge, but you're 2 for 2.
Yeah.
That's outstanding.
But both of them, we hit the early one, and we were alive into the final leg of the last one for some good money, and just could not. So we'll
I think that's outstanding, though. I mean, to be, I was teasing the other week about to be treading water, but to have swings at knocking it out of the park is a very enviable position to sit.
Yeah, it is disappointing when you get knocked out of the first leg. That takes the wind out of the sails. But both weeks scored in the first, and then alive for a good score in the last leg of the second one we played. So we'll try to keep it going this weekend.
I am very strongly, very, very, very strongly contemplating not becoming.
You've been saying this for like 40 years.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger.
It's the bankroll. I got to get this young man through he's a senior in high school, and it's the bill is the biggest your senior year at private school. So I got to get him through here. We're going to, with this, he has been a walk in the park. Trust me. High school is going to be more expensive than college. And for anybody with parents, you can understand there's only 2 roads that could be true. And one of them, he didn't go to prep school. He went to a nice private school, but he didn't go to prep school. But he's done well in school, and we are going to be blessed. I told my wife that 529 is going to the 401. This child has been a dream, and college will be, it'll be affordable for us, let's say. So it is time. By the way, just so if you don't know, they have already started taking the money out for his senior year. So they start in July. So I don't get that little breather. But I think springtime, last payment will be made, and I think I expect to be there. We're gonna be at Aqueduct next spring, right?
Yeah,
almost every year. So I think maybe Saratoga next year. I think we'll roll through, because I think it's going to be fun. I mean, I like the education part of this game, and I'm sure I'm going to make a lot of mistakes along the way, but I am looking forward to it. But what I am doing this year is what somebody told me when they found out how much of a trifecta player I am, and they told me up front, it's all about bankroll. The trifecta with the all button for the super. He goes, it's the only way you can play it. And I agreed. You just need the bankroll. You're just going to beat yourself up too much with huge scores. He goes, listen, you handicap the trifecta. Your bankroll takes care of the super. So my goal is on Monday, I'm going to go through all the Breeders' Cup races that have had tries and supers, and I'm going to make a column what the odds were of the fourth place horse, and then as a function of the try to see. I think sometimes you get a lot of 5-to-1 shots that have the super pay 3 times.
Yeah,
with a horse that's very logical in the fourth place.
Yeah, the super definitely can.
But he was clear. Out. He's like, and he's right. He goes, it's a bankroll thing.
Yeah,
because you have to get the bankroll and then play the stand. Our director wants us to probably go to the ball play of the day. Does that work for you?
Yes.
All right. It's Thursday, so is that Mr. Vic?
Let me. I mentioned. I will jump in. I mentioned Robbie and Katie Davis are on because they have a charity event across the street coming up. But also Dave Grenning from the Daily Racing Forum will do a little review, a little
Thursday
preview, and their friend Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy, a little handicapping as well. All of that at 10 o'clock.
So now I feel very strongly it's Steve Bick then, since we're going to have Kevin's voice later today, right?
I have no idea what days they are. I don't remember.
All right. Well, let's go to the DePaul play of the day, and we'll all find out together.
It's time to think DePaula and drive for less. Pick your Chevy, pick your payment, and DePaula delivers. Or every Chevy, 0 down payment, 0 first payment, 0 security.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hey everybody, Steve Beck back with you for the Thursday DePaula play of the day. And we probably got rain overnight, and I've got to steer clear, I think, of the turf races with so much uncertainty. And I've landed on the 7th race. This is a $20,000 level starter allowance, going 7/8, and there is just too much speed for a closer not to succeed here. Got to head out to the 7, Beachwalker. This for Michelle Giangiulio and the 10 Strike team and one of their partners, Four Corners Racing. Kendrick Carmouche gets aboard for the first time. And this veteran 7-year-old has run plenty of races that fit in here, and he's going to get a tremendous setup. Hasn't won at Saratoga, but 3 of his 5 wins have been at 7/8. And Beachwalker, 12-1, and you might get every bit of that. So Beachwalker is the DePaula play of the day. And see, at the very least, if he can't hit the board running late with all the speed that's signed on in here. Good luck. Talk to you on Sunday.
It's time to think DePaula and drive for less. Pick your Chevy, pick your payment, and DePaula delivers. Or every Chevy, 0 down payment, 0 first payment, 0 security.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on an outstanding
Really
morning
is.
trackside. Very good. Very good. Yeah, right. I think we'll get through the card today. What do we got? 10? Yes.
We do.
10. And people, I laugh. It's like, I've already said my picks for Saturday. So you can see Seth's table is, it gets a little confusing in this spot, but Thursday.
Not for you with the colored.
No, not for me.
And, I meant it when you brought it up yesterday. I meant to say, because you mentioned it so many times, I was like, is that really a thing? And so I went to look at the advertisements for these, and
What's their pitch?
For some people it is a thing, clearly.
Yes.
Because some of the advertisements, it's like, use them to organize your.
Yes.
Some of them are just like, hey, we're multicolored.
Assortment.
So yeah.
I could see it breaking that way,
yeah.
but to me, and obviously, if you've ever, well, very few people have ever seen it. It's not top secret, but why would you want to see it if you don't love data? Colors and visual has always worked for me greatly. And when I started doing this, and really, this is only about the last 4 years when we started getting the 3 days out and things. I had too many days. I have yesterdays in case something, but there's a lot going on. So I was just like, you got to have a system.
Well, yesterday doesn't have a red on it.
What?
There's no clip.
Correct, because I'm not hung up on what used to be very much, but what's going forward, because I just am like, green means go, and that's what I settled on. But green, you only get one, which is all I need. But I noticed you got a little. I know it's just happen chance, but you were all black.
I just pull them out of.
Yeah, he's got little ones. He's got medium ones. Seth is all over the board. We are going to dash 5.5 on the turf in the opener. State bred juveniles.
And again, if something should happen weather-wise, and right now it doesn't look like that is going to happen, but if it does, have dirt picks over on the one sheet, capitalotv.com. But on the turf, 4, 2, 10, and 7. I thought the 11 was a little bit interesting too. The 11 is first on the AE list, so that one would need a little help to get in. But the first star I thought could be playable. But I put Heavenly Light on top by City of Light. City of Light this year, 34 first-time starter, 6 wins, couple of seconds, couple of thirds. This horse worked zippy 10.2 before attracting $55,000 at auction. That's not a huge price, but this is a New York bred in a New York bred race. Trainer stats don't jump off the page with first-time starters, but again, you have a sire that can have them ready. I will also say the Lone Racing sibling was 7th in a similar race here last year in the only start of the career. So for me, there's kind of mixed messages, but I just looked at the rest of the field, and I thought, you know what? There's a little bit of breeding with City of Light. The 10.2 workout, that July 7th workout seemed to attract my attention a little bit. So I'll go with Heavenly Light with some trepidation. Second spot, Second Chance. Bilmont trainee that, again, there's a workout under there that was okay. As I say, there was nothing really jumping off in here. The Second Chance, one of the 5 siblings won in the second career start. The other siblings were not win early, but there was one that showed some punch. And then Miss C Banker. Experience counts. This may be the one to beat off of little front running try last time before fading, but I would expect that put some experience under the belt, and that will be beneficial. So for me, again, you can maybe read between the lines here. I do not have much confidence, but I'm 4-2, 10, and 7.
And also note that they took the rails down on the inner and they moved the rails to 27 feet on the outer. Just there. I bring that up because I said I believe in it. This at almost practically each jurisdiction. The rail settings dramatically affect the teletimer. They're not equally off based on the rail. Some are actually make the teletimer a little quick, and when you assemble the data, I think it kind of jumps out. I'm the guessing game here. You were like one of the first ones on the McLean's music. You're always onto it, and I am 110.5, and I'm scheduled to break for the number 5 post position, which I like, with the saddlecloth number 1 musical Q, who is an offspring of McLean's music. And I don't think we talked about him last summer, but he's the horse who had the one career start, I think, out at Santa Anita, right? A Stone Street runner. And I think he received like a 105 buyer.
I don't remember what, but it was a phenomenal, and that was. And I think Steve
Asmussen might have trained him, but that was him. He went to the stud, and he was initially successful. I'm going with musical QQ here. Mississippi Banker, which is the one horse Seth and I agree on. We have 5 of the 10 in the main body covered. And then a first to number 5 on a summer day, who was an offspring of Summerfront at 12-1 on the morning line, 110.5 in today's opener.
And I just looked it up in McLean's music. Still this year doing pretty well.
Okay.
26 first-time starters, 4 winners, couple seconds, 3 thirds. So
and it does seem like I know he's had a classic winner. Pretty sure that I know that. Cloud Computing, was he in McLean's music? I'll look that up at our next break. But he's kind of sired the type of horses you would think, even though he's got a classic winner.
Second race this afternoon, plain vanilla, 10 claimers going 7 furlongs.
8-2-6 for me, and Jolly Miss Jill for Rudy, second off the claim on the outside with Luis Saez. I'm hoping we use a little giddy up early from the outside, get a nice stalking position. This has to be the bottom of the barrel, right? They can't run under 10,000. Has to be. And adjusting for inflation, I think, didn't it used to be 20?
Yeah.
And that was 30 years ago. But Jolly Miss,
I don't even know if it was that long ago, was it? That the bottom was 20?
Oh, you might be right. I just kind of assumed that because
I would have said it was fairly recently.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up too. But Jolly Miss Jill on the outside, I have Our Funny Business inside shipping in from Parks and Condiment Girl for Linda Rice. First off the claim, this is almost hard to imagine. The Daily Racing Form reporting 190 runners first off the claim for a field size set, 25% winners, 8-2-6.
6, 1, 7, or 4 for me. Condiment Girl off the claim takes the drop. And, normally I scratch my chin, but Linda Rice can do that move and do it successfully. So I think they may just be being clever in here. And she not only trains it, she owns it. So she has the decision-making process here to do that. And I think that, as I say, a move that normally would, with Linda Rice, I'm not quite as concerned. Another day gone by in the second slot, third off the claim. The first start off the claim was right around this level at Monmouth, and that was a win, and then bounced up a little bit into an optional claim or starter allowance last time. Didn't fare as well. I think we get back to the comfort zone today. And then in the third spot, Mucho Mamma Mia going up for Jeremiah Englehart and Irad Ortiz. Potent combination, obviously, coming off a nice try last time in May against maybe slightly better. So I think, nice win under the belt to drop like this, a little step, half a step. I don't think that's a big concern, having put a little money in the bank last time. And 3 starts back, a win as well. So Mucho Mamma Mia. The 10-1 price looks generous to me. We'll see what that winds up to be this afternoon. In the second, 6, 1, 7, and 4.
And Cloud Computing was a McLean's music. And hard to imagine that the only other race he won besides the maiden was the Preakness. And I had the $100 exacta with Classic Empire, but he never won. He only won 2 races his whole life: the maiden and the Preakness. That's rather rare.
Yeah,
we have some horses that have won their maiden and the Belmont.
I will say Twitter is picking up on your theme in the past. There's been a lot of it in the past month or so of Kentucky Derby winners not performing after the Kentucky Derby so much over the past, 10 years or so?
I have to say this. It's an anomaly when they do. But I'm like, I
have seen a lot of tweets.
I mean, there's
just within the past, a month or so, kind of pointing that out.
Oh, okay. All right. On to the third. We are scheduled for 11 furlongs on the inner turf. Entry-level allowance, fillies and mares.
7-4, the 1 entry, and 8 Idea Generation on top. It is Chad. It is Klarovich, horse that showed some ability early in the career as a 2- and 3-year-old. Now comes back for the 4-year-old debut. Irad Ortiz on board. Again, I think this is a nice spot to get the confidence builder, to get the 4-year-old season underway. Sacred Image, Chad Brown and Peter Brandt. Another one that has some talent, it seems, and moving in the right direction. 4 starts, and I think the last couple are better, at least number-wise, and then the 5th start of the career, of what we've seen so far. I think the horse could be primed for another move forward up here. 2nd slot, we will go with 3rd slot, we'll go with the 1 and the 1A, both halves of the entry, a little bit interesting. Haystack and In Time. To me, they're pretty similar. Sometimes I can say, I prefer this one over the other one. But I think on a best effort, they're both right in the thick of things here. I have it 7-4, the 1 entry, and 8.
And as a quick note, addendum to that, as stallions, yeesh. Would Orb end up in Uruguay?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeesh. Now, remember, folks, it's Thursday. I'm in the Times Union. I'm trying to help the team. The 11 and 10 are MTOs. They so I'm 1A and 4 for you as a turf race. So just skip over. In Time is my top pick for the turf race to Christophe Clement runner, who's had, had 1 start in the autumn, has had 2 starts here. And Seth, this is where I really feel as if we could do away with that layoff line, I feel, between April 25th and July 7th. I've really come up with 90 days as the benchmark for me. And I think if I talked to enough trainers and said, I just think that's the way the game has evolved, especially with better horses or horses that you think have an upside. There's I doubt Christophe Clement laid off this horse. And then Sacred Image, who to me at 10-1 is very live in here. You don't see it on the board, but it's 1A and 4 for me as a turf race. And it looks like we avoided it yesterday, and I'm hoping we avoid it today. Now time for, the Dark Horse Play of the Day.
Dark Horse Play of the Day. It's going to be race number 6 this afternoon. Number 4, Arc Royal. I'm not super confident on this one, but I didn't see anything else on the card that jumped out either. But a first-time starter, I think, is interesting. By McKinsey. McKinsey with first-time starters. No winners with 10 first-time starters this year. But 4 seconds and a third. One of the offspring of McKinsey, Grand McKinsey, was second in debut, won the 2nd start, albeit in Puerto Rico. So a little win early there. Horse worked in 10.3 before the April sale down in Ocala. 3 racing siblings showed some early talent. One of those Gamma Squeeze won in the 2nd career start, albeit at Charlestown. But again, I thought there was some win early here. Mark Hennig trains, and the latest workout jumps out at me as well. 47 and 4, which is nice. And in this field, I think is going to be okay and have the horse primed for a good effort. In the chase, the 7 horse also has a little bit of breeding, and that one scares me. But again, there was just enough there that I thought Arc Royal could be very intriguing. 6-1 on the morning line. So today's Dark Horse Play of the Day, race number 6, horse number 4, Arc Royal, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga in downtown Saratoga. We appreciate their sponsorship, and we tout you once again to head down and enjoy what they have to offer. Both stores are a lot of fun just to browse through. You find something you like, lots of great items, apparel and home items and knickknacks and whatnot. And I have to check in with Marianne and see what the update is on impressions. We'll get Marianne and Maddie in here to update us as well, because again, they had the little mishap with a flood in their basement and the electrical system went out. They were closed, but had the tent out on the sidewalk. And impressions, Dark Horse down the street is wide open, but we'll get the update there. But again, thanks to them for their sponsorship.
We should get some Victoria Racing Club garb in impressions.
Or just have them
update
their boxes.
Who fly around the world. Now, take a quick break. When we come back, the middle pick 4.
4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 102-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 102 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
Welcome back to Handicappers Report on this Thursday morning. Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino. We are live from our Clare Court location here. Of course, has been working out behind us all morning. And as we say, man, there was a crowd schooling at the gate this morning. So it's been fun. Always fun here to kind of be right in the thick of things. Thick of things this afternoon. 4th race, conditional claimers, 35 tags, non-winners of 3 lifetime, scheduled on the grass at 8.5 furlongs.
11, 7, and 9 for me. The 11 is the MTO, remembering that it is Thursday. We play the game a little differently for our team on Thursdays. But Ray Handel, who's had, so I'm focused on the 7 and the 9 here, hoping we get the turf race. Ray Handel's had a very good meet.
Had one yesterday, right?
He won yesterday. So the racing form that I'm looking at would be updated. And I think, going back to opening day, I think I've been aboard all 3 of them. I think, right? I think that's the case, right? He was
so he's your favorite
tongue
trainer
twister in the finale yesterday, right? That was Ray.
Yeah.
That was him.
Yeah.
So he's the firster, right, on opening day. That got claimed out. But El Esforte, I'm taking a flyer with that. Goes out this afternoon with Dylan Davis, who is just having a fantastic first third of the meet. Irad's a given. Flavian Prat is a given. And Dylan Davis is really having, a moment.
Notably, all the winners have been double digits.
Yeah. I mean, that, is a guy like me. And I've noticed now people are putting on Twitter and everything the ROI of these jockeys and trainers now, instead of just the wins and the mounts or the
somebody
runner.
did parse out the ROI listed by ROI.
Something we did on 4 years ago when I did the 1 day a week on Racing Across America, the odds and everything. So, and then the 9 underneath, 3rd start after a long layoff. I told you I don't care about layoffs. 1X at Delaware comes up for Graham Motion is 8-5. So there's no more surprises in that round. So for me, it's the 7 and the 9 if we get our turf race.
9, 7, 10, and 6, Pilates Sisters. 3rd start back off 2 nice improving efforts. A win last time. Graham Motion brings this one up from the Fair Hill training base. Raced at Keeneland and Delaware in the first 2 starts and raced very well. I think is primed to go well again this afternoon. Second slot, we will go with LA Forte. It is the Ray Handel trainee. Kind of amazing. 43% of the time, this horse runs second. 2 wins, 10 seconds, and a third in 23 starts. That's just so I have the horse in second. We'll see if that completes the exacta on the stats. And then next on stage, I have Pilata Sisters and next on stage 9 and 10 going 2 turns at a mile and 16th on the turf. I'm not thrilled to be on the outside, but both of them are kind of similar scenarios. Third start back off of layoffs. And next on stage does have some early speed. I would think from the outside will use it. Also gets to the turf and hasn't tried the turf before. I thought that was maybe a little bit intriguing. But again, the post position might wind up to be a little bit tough. 9, 7, 10, and 6. And I will say you have mentioned a few times over the past couple of days or past couple of weeks, I guess, going because it's Thursdays usually, your pick for the Times Union.
Yes.
For folks who aren't familiar with what Anthony's talking about, we only get three slots in the Times Union, and we can't parse out, hey, I want this on dirt and this one on turf. And so since we only get 3 picks in the Times Union, a lot of times we'll put that MTO on top. And if it stays on the turf, that one gets scratched out anyway. Right. But we want to be alive in the proper situation. So
thank you very much. Just to run down Seth's point, Dylan Davis, I'm not gonna use the cents here. 27, 18, 13, 10, 13, 10, 17, and of course, on opening day, $91. I will go out on a limb and say Dylan Davis will have a positive ROI when we wrap up 2024. He has 8 winners and he has 2 stakes winners, which that for the individual, that really helps. I mean, it's not any win is great, but financially, winning stakes races is bountiful, and it's nice to see because even when you're going well daily, it's hard to get stakes amounts that's live. And no one's saying the Queen's MG was live, but she was the favorite in the Astoria. So, the fact she paid $91 was probably on us, the public. On to the 5th, 1 lap around, claimers 2L.
1 entry, 9, 10, and 7. The 1 entry being Whiskey and Soda and Unlimited Potential. They both go out for Todd Pletcher. Whiskey and Soda. Debut effort was pretty good against main specials. Then the follow-up was not. I'm going to draw a line through that follow-up. The debut just had a much better look. So I'll look for a rebound there. Unlimited Potential takes a drop that is suspicious, but this one just might outclass this bunch. It is Rapoli and Company and Todd Pletcher, so it may just be one of those situations where not living up to our expectations. We have other horses to move into the barn, and so we'll kind of sacrifice this one out there. So I'll put the entry on top. I don't think they're invincible. Masterwork comes in off a big class drop for Tom Morley and is, I think, right in the thick of things with the top 2. But again, it's a class drop that makes you say, a little bit. The drop for Endowed is a little more palatable. This one from 25 to 16. That's just, we're kind of searching for a productive level there. So Irad Ortiz on board. Endowed at 6-1 on the morning line is intriguing as well. Again, with a drop that is a little more, you can feel a little more confident in perhaps. In the 5th, 1 entry, 9, 10, and 7.
On the 1 entry also, either one I take, however they run. I have the 8 and the 9 under. All the rage, not on Seth's top 3, but I think is I didn't have the gumption on Thursday to put it over the entry, but on a non-Thursday, I might have. And then I have Masterwork, as Seth has, first time gelding, I believe it, based on the April 25th race. But the entry, seems to be a big hill to climb, and I won't try and climb it today. Also, note on Dylan, of his 8 wins, and I like to, 2 of them were the longest shot in the board. Obviously, the Queen's MG and then Union Dolly. the other day. I mean, I just like, once again, I just think it gives it context that it's almost reasonable to say, even though the Queen's MG is funny at night, the price is funny. How many times are you the favorite in the previous, stakes race in that series, and the next time you're the longest shot on the board in a field of 11? But most of us would think the longest shot on the board in a race isn't very live. So you should almost get, like I say, public handicappers should get extra points when the longest shot wins. Jockeys and trainers should get extra points.
That all his winners are double digits says a lot. I mean, he's not.
Well, it says the IRAD tax is alive and well.
Yeah, he's not lining up with 3 to 5 shots. He's scoring for the public. 6th race this afternoon, State Bred made specials, 3/4 of a mile. Which,
by the way, is what the ROI will display to people when you throw it in where you are. 10, 3, 4, 11, 12 are MTOs. Horatio De Paz and Flavian Prat, I'm going with the offspring of Liam's Matt. Book it with Haddad or Had. I mean, it didn't make sense to me if I parse it out with the letters. Book it with Had.
Isn't that that model's name? Are they referring to that? Right. I'm not
good with pop culture.
I may not be right on that, but
that's where I am. Like book it with Hadadi.
I think that's her last name. Well, now that I'm typing it, I don't think that is her last name.
Okay, so that's what I'm going with. I'm on the 10. That's where I go. And it's a first-time starter, so I couldn't get any help. And Club 65 Racing, they didn't call me up. For second, Shake It for the Bird, going out, the offspring of Big Brown. Kai Barcoa already has a win at this meet. And then Arc Royal, who Seth has already touched on, for our good friend Mark Henning. And Dark Horse play of the day, 10-3-4 for me.
4, 7, 3, and 10. Yeah, the number 4. I mentioned that earlier. Dark Horse play of the day. There was just enough there. A little first time. But there are mixed signals as well. But at 6-1, I put that one on top. In the chase, in the second spot, trainer's very good with first-time starters. There's a sibling called Always a Warrior that won its debut here last summer for the same connections. So I think the 7 is very dangerous. And Shake It for the Bird in the third spot. Invades from Finger Lakes off some interesting workouts. I would not ignore this one, regardless of the fact that it's coming in from the Finger Lakes. We've already had some Finger Lakes shippers do okay. I have it 4-3.
Boss Man got it on the first Friday. Disco Dino down the road.
I will say we're going to take a break right after 6, yes?
Yes, we're going to take a break. Right.
I'll alert you that when we come out of the break, I was in the winner's circle yesterday after the honorable miss. Spirit Win looked very good for Saffy Joseph, but more interesting, Mike Smith was in town for the ride. So it's just a little quick, but there's a few seconds with Mike Smith in the winner's circle yesterday as we come out of this upcoming break.
Quick thing. I just Googled it. I'm just making an assumption. There is a Subaru dealership in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, Haddad. We'll be right back. Who knows?
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Horses a furlong from the finish, exceed 4 lengths off the pace. Here's Clearly Unhinged trying to run down Spirit Wind. Spirit Wind hugging that rail and going on strongly. Clearly Unhinged. Exceed with a final try, but it will be close, and it goes to Spirit Wind.
Really beat him probably easier than what he even looked.
Were you surprised you made the lead?
Not after warming up. Now on paper I was. Mike, I didn't think that. I thought the outside, and I thought Asmussen's filly, if we all broke head and head, they would probably get it from me, which was fine. That was my game plan actually. But when I was warming her up, I said I ain't gonna be able to keep her off the lead. I hope I leave her really running because she warmed up with a lot of energy today. A lot more than she did in Texas. She was better filly today.
What made you come here? Was the Texas performance?
Anytime Safi calls you, you just don't ask why. You just get on the plane.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The thing about Mike Smith that it does amaze me. It's like the first time he popped on my radar was 87, the Breeders' Cup Sprint that I loved. Very subtle to hand Groovy his lunch, which she did. And Mike, I think, ran, he had a mount previously, Exclusive Enough. And, Mike Smith, it's a pretty common name. And I was like, okay. So that was 37 years ago.
Yeah, he's still.
So if he was 17 on that day, 54, and he's in great shape, and it's truly amazing what he has done with his, career. I mean, how many?
And for folks who are maybe new to the game, younger, he was the leading rider here for 3 or 4 years.
And then that horrible day in '98, and you would have thought, okay, but he bounced back and got better.
Yeah,
so
went out to Southern California and been out there ever since, at the top of the game for a while. Now he's kind of picking the spots, but still gets calls to ride stakes races. Hey, I'll come across the country. And
we're going to ship up and come on in. On to the 7th, starter allowance, the lower level going 7/8.
654 and the 1 entry, Prince Track on top. It just looks to have the edge on this group. This is a runner who is in the hunt, in the exacta far more often than not. And that is really, if you go down the page, just hard to knock this one. Nice 5-year-old for Rudy that, as I say, just looks to have the edge in here. Magnolia Midnight, on a best effort, could scramble and knock around with Print Trek, finished second behind that one last time. And I think he'll be in the mix again today. And then Talkin' Pharaoh with some early speed. Speed's always dangerous. Brings it in from Parks. We'll see. This winter, the Park shippers down in New York did very well. Normally, I'm not necessarily high on Park shippers, but again, in New York this winter, they did all right. Water's maybe a little bit deeper as we move up to Saratoga, but this one comes in with good form and speed. I have it 6.5, 4, and the 1 entry.
And I agree with that. I do think with the expansion to 40 days, there are some days and some spots. As I said, this lower starter allowance level, the real meat and potato has been starter allowance 50, but they have this lower one, and there's more races to fill. I have it just the other way, and mostly because of the odds. Because I have to tell you, as I think this race unfolds, Magnolia Midnight is not getting the better of this in any way except the price. I think I'm going to get outrun and pressured from the outside with the 2-to-1 shot, and then I have Dot's Dollar on third from the rail. So 5, 6, and 2.
Race number 8 on this Thursday afternoon. State-bred allowance runners, non-winners of one other than 3/4 of a mile.
And I am 8-1-4 here. Dolomite for Chad Brown, making the first start of the year. Finished third in the Demoiselle. For second, Better Humor Me. Charlie Baker, whose horses I see almost each morning coming up here, sends out this runner for the seasonal debut from the rail. And then Big Hazel. Big price in here for David Dong, who's had a quiet year, but 8-1-4 in the 8th.
8, 2, 5, and 6. Dolomite on the day. This would probably be my single if I was, playing the horizontals. I think Dolomite showed some flash and talent last year as a 3-year-old. This is the kind that I think comes back as a 2-year-old. This is the kind that I think comes back off a layoff and maybe shows improvement as a 3-year-old. Nice place to start the season, I think. So Dolomite for me. Cruz to Catalina in the second spot. Riley Mott runner won the career debut down at Belmont at Aqueduct and did it kind of in fine fashion. Number doesn't jump off the page, but I could see this one moving forward in the second start, and La Banquera in the third spot. Boy, the debut was very good, and then not so much so in the second start. They did get ambitious in Tri-Stakes Company. It was also on a muddy track. I'm going to look, even if we split the difference between the debut and the follow-up, that's going to be a good enough effort to be in the hunt today. So for me, 8, 2, 5, and 6.
All right, take our final break. When we come back, the late daily double.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 102-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 102 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Caress Stakes, they don't put in the form anymore, but my math is right. The 14th running, Seth, we've already had multiple $40 winners, a $50 winner, and a $60 winner in the Turf Sprint, a Grade 3.
10, 3, 4, and 8 for me. I'm going to put Roses for Deborah on top. This is kind of interesting.
She was not one of the long price winners.
Christophe Clement trains the last 3 years at Saratoga Turf Sprints, 19 for 103, 18%. You parse that down to stakes, 4 for 24, 17%. You parse that down to Turf Sprint stakes with IROD on board, 2 for 6, 33%, and both of those were with this horse last summer. So I'll put Roses for Deborah on top with the potent team with this horse at Saratoga in a Turf Sprint stake. Second slot, Future Is Now, comes in off a nice stakes win up here, the Belmont at Saratoga meet. The Mike Trombetta horse, I think, is continuing to work well and should be a competitor again. And Coffee Maker in the third spot. Nice turf sprinter on the stakes quality side of things for Wesley Ward. Should be a player again this afternoon. 10, 3, 4, and 8.
The rails at 27 feet on the outside post. I think those are the hurdles for Roses for Deborah to defend. I'll take her on top, though, with that being said. Run for the Hills. Mark Cassie's runner. Big price in here, I think, is a major player. And for third, Coffee Maker, Wesley Ward. But Roses for Deborah could be heck to pay on the outside today.
10th and final this afternoon. We're looking at State Bred Maiden Claimers, mile and 16th on the grass.
Yes, we are. 3, 10, and 12 for me. And Temple Creed, Tom Morley's runner, is scheduled to make the second career start. I'm very happy with the debut at 10-1. Hit the board. We come back with a good post position draw in here. Eric Consell takes the mount back. So Temple Creed coming back at the 40 price as they did on debut. My top pick in the finale. Number 10, English Castle. First time in for a tag for Christophe Clement in here. And then for third, Dakota Country. First time in for a tag also for Danny Gargan. So 3, 10, 12. The 3 is actually for a price and everything. I like this horse very much at a big price in here. So 3, 10, 12 in the finale.
I'm 7, 10, 12, and 2. I'm going with Koru on top, Chad Brown trainee that lightly raced, but every start has been an improvement number-wise. I think it'd be very primed here, dropping in for the maiden tag. English Castle goes out for Christophe Clement. Similar scenario, drops in for the tag. And then in the third slot, Dakota Country Again, improving numbers, dropping in for the tag. So really similar scenario all around. This is a Dean Reeves runner too, and he's done very well with these New York breds coming up to Saratoga last couple of seasons. So 10th and final for me. I have it 7, 10, 12, and 2.
And there are a couple of short price tough hills to climb today, but not quite as much as yesterday. But I like the card today very much. And yesterday, I think, was really my type of day. I think we had 6 horses who were 4th choice or better, only one favorite, one on the day, a couple of second choices. But what I think it displayed to me, and those 4th choices didn't, they paid like $13, how competitive the racing was going in. And that's, as I said, I don't pay much attention to the racing classification except to see who's eligible or something like that. But to me, it was on balance one of the most competitive days of racing yesterday. And that's what I like. And I think today is only about 70% of it because there's a couple of short price horses that are going to be tough to beat. And I don't think we had that yesterday at all. But it's hopefully Mother Nature helps us out again today because she certainly helped out yesterday.
Yeah, no, and so far so good. I'll knock wood, but it looks like another day where maybe things will hold
Green
out.
Room is on a roll. Yeah, no hesitation with your first guest. They are parked here.
That's always
smiling. There's a surprise.
That's always nice when the guests are here before we end this show, and I can look up and say, okay, we're good.
I could not live well. I couldn't exist comfortably with that unease. I like relying on myself. That's about as far as I can take it. So I give you all the kudos in the world for putting together this next show. He stays, I go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hope the raindrops stay away. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
This has been the Handicappers Report, brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.